Hey, what's up you guys? So this video is gonna be pretty similar to my rereading Twilight video because I will be reading Midnight Sun in this video, and do bear in mind that this video will be very spoilery for Midnight Sun and Twilight. I don't know how to discuss this book without also spoiling Twilight, so just be prepared for all the spoils. I'm currently 3 chapters into this book, and so far, you know, following Twilight pretty plot point for plot point, and I am really enjoying it so far. I really like Edward's take on things. I liked the scene where he was, you know, just glaring at Bella the whole time as he was like trying to not kill her, and I loved how he was like coming up with all of these ways to kill her, and he was just running them through his head, and I really loved it. I wish Alice had been paying attention to his like future, what was gonna happen with him in the future during this, because like, oh, that would have been such a great moment from her, just having her like horrified thoughts. But you know, she was paying attention to Jasper. Makes sense. Jasper is a new veggie. So anyways, I really enjoyed that. I loved what Edward was thinking, because like when I read that scene, all I can think is like, wow, how does no one else notice this? Because it's just such an abnormal behavior. Then we had the whole Van trying to kill Bella and Bella being a magnet for the Van, and that was just a great scene from him, because you really start to feel him start to develop feelings and him be like confused by these feelings. And I love how, because he's so old and he hasn't really ever felt anything like this, he's just so confused by it and he doesn't understand. Like, he understands his thoughts, but he doesn't understand his emotions, and I just really enjoy that. And I love him hearing everyone else's thoughts. I really love him reacting to people's thoughts. Him and Mike right now, like, I love his take on Mike's thoughts. Like, I don't know, you know, in real life I'm not the biggest fan of like the jealous boyfriend, but in books I love the jealous boyfriend. I don't know why, but like I'm loving it. I'm loving it so hard right now. So okay, so I just finished the next couple chapters 4 and 5. And in these chapters, Edward like fought with his family to keep Bella alive, which was super fun. I mean, not fun, but intense. Intense is probably a better word for it. But I really enjoyed that scene. I thought that it really showed Edward's feelings kind of developing, and I loved getting that from him. Jasper, Alice, when she was like going through all of those visions of Jasper and Edward going head to head, and how Edward kept cutting Jasper off like sooner, I loved that. I loved that. I thought it was such a cool addition. And then what happened after that was Edward like ignores Bella for like a month. I loved how it was just so hard for him, and I love the developing of the relationship. I also feel like in Midnight Sun compared to Twilight, we get a little bit more detail on Bella's character and Edward and his character and how they like really relate in terms of how they think. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed how observant Edward was, and I liked seeing another side of Bella. I liked getting some of those extra little scenes about how she went out of her way to help the one kid that no one really would ever pair up with. I just liked that. And then Edward starts talking to Bella again, and I love seeing this all from his perspective and seeing him deal with everyone asking her to prom. I love how he is like, you know, stuck essentially watching Bella from Mike's perspective, and he hates it. He hates it, man. Like, it's great because he's so jealous, and as I said, I love a good book jealous boyfriend. Not in real life. I found it so fun. him laughing at Bella whenever she got so angry about Tyler. Oh, poor Bella, man. That's so irritating. Saying no to people sucks, but like sometimes you do just gotta say no. I just thought that was so funny. And now they're talking again, and it's so exciting, and he's gonna try to walk on this thin line of keeping Bella human, and it's not gonna work for him, but that's okay, because I love a good vampire Bella. So I'm gonna read some more. Time for the blood typing scene. This is one of the scenes that I've really been looking forward to, because like he's gonna freak out and think she's dead. I'm excited for him to want to kill Mike. Like, look, I love every scene where he's like, I want to kill Mike, but like poor Mike, he doesn't deserve this. He keeps thinking Bella doesn't deserve this, but like Mike does not deserve this. Mike is just a plain Jane boy. Is there like a plain, he's like a plain Joe, and it's poor Mike. He's getting so much hate from Edward. Okay, so I just finished chapter 6, which is the blood typing chapter, and I totally forgot that in that chapter the cafeteria scene happens, and I loved the cafeteria scene from Edward's perspective. His way in which he's like trying to court Bella, it's so relatable to the start of a relationship where you're so anxious because you don't know what the other person is feeling. You don't know if they're really into it, or if you're feeling more than they are, or feeling too much. You know, you don't know what's going on there. So it felt very relatable to to me to how I have kind of fallen into relationships and stuff too, and how I've like fallen in love with someone too, is it's very nerve-wracking because you don't know. The time that I fell in love, like I definitely felt like that it was one-sided. So I get where his emotions are coming from, and I get like what he's going through in that scene, and I just really like that. I liked that relatability. And then we have the blood typing thing where Bella passes out because she smells blood, and Edward is just like, is she even human? And I was thinking this entire time when that was going on, you know, it would be a cool twist to Midnight Sun if Stephenie Meyer flipped the script and made Bella not human. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Like, that's all I could think is like, what if Stephenie Meyer did this? I don't think she did. I can't foresee her changing the events of Twilight. Like, I wouldn't want her to, but at the same time, I'm also like, I'm like envisioning this fan fiction in my head of like, what if Bella's a werewolf, or what if Bella's a witch, or what if Bella's a ghost or an angel, or you know, what if she's something paranormal too? That's like one line where I was just like, I can build this fan fiction. Oh, and I loved when he, you know, hears Mike's thoughts and knows that Bella is like passed out on the ground, and the line, I nearly took the door off the car, was, I just started laughing my ass off. So I just finished chapters 7, 8, and 9, and so in these chapters, Edward goes hunting with his brother, and we get a little bit more backstory on the Cullens and kind of what they do in their downtime, and I really like that. I feel like we get more of a personality from Rosalie, Jasper, you know, the rest of the Cullens in this book than we do in Twilight because of that scene. And I really liked how we also got more of Emmett because Emmett and Edward went hunting, and I really love Emmett and Edward's relationship. I love how they like talk to each other, and I love their banter. I just think that they are really cool, and I just love the Cullens' overall relationship, and I feel like it gets way more fleshed out in this book than it does maybe in the entirety of Twilight Saga. So after that, Bella goes to school. Not a lot happens while she's at school other than Edward kind of follows her around and does some stalking, which it's really hard for me to justify him stalking, so I'm just not. Stalking is not cool. Don't stalk people. And then after that, he follows her to Port Angeles, and you know, the whole thing in Port Angeles happened. I'm sure you all know what it is. I'm not gonna say it, but he comes and saves the day like Batman. And when he comes and saves the day, he's like so murderous. I love his little like murderous thoughts that he's having. And then he and Bella have their kind of date, but like not a date, and I just his whole reaction to that, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed how like nervous he was and how like on the edge of his seat it was. And I feel like his overall feelings in this relationship are very relatable aside from like the actions that he takes. Like the actions that he takes with the stalking, not really relatable, but those feelings that you get where like you're on a date and you're not sure how what you're gonna say is gonna be taken, like that's so relatable. So I just really enjoyed that, and also how like as you start to like get to know someone more, you want to open up more, and I feel like his developing of feelings is so relatable, and I feel like it's almost more relatable than Bella's, and I just really enjoy that. But don't stalk. Stalking is bad. I can't believe she just smiled when he admitted to following her around. He follows her around so much. Like, I don't understand how he finds that so enjoyable. Like, what does he do when she's using the restroom? Just sit around and wait for 3 minutes and not do anything? Like, that's so boring. How does he just watch her sleep all the time? Like, how is that fun? It's so boring. You're just sitting there. You're just sitting there and you're waiting. You're just sitting there and you're waiting. Everyone hates sitting around and waiting. I don't understand how he finds what he is doing enjoyable, but you know, it's Twilight. Yeah, it's Twilight. That's all I got. Okay, so I just finished chapter 10, which is mainly the car ride back home from Port Angeles. This Midnight Sun has a little bit more than that, but in Twilight, the corresponding chapter ends when Bella goes to sleep. Bella has now told Edward that she knows that he's a vampire, and Edward and his perspective is fantastic. Him being like so concerned that she's mentally unwell because she's willing to essentially die to be with him. It's great. I love it. I love Edward. I don't have words. So that happened, and then we also get a little bit of closure on what happened with the guy that was going to do things to Bella, which is really nice. I'm glad that he is probably roasted, hopefully. I'm sure that's what Carlisle had planned for him, and I am glad that Edward was able to kind of process that and deal with that and not act on those feelings and let Carlisle do all the dirty work, because ooh buddy, murderous Edward. It's just, he's great. So we drive home from Port Angeles and Bella's asking all the questions and Edward is answering and he's just so concerned the entire time, and I love it. I also really love his reaction to her story about Jacob and how she was able to get the truth out of Jacob, because poor Jacob, he was so defenseless and she just went in for the kill like the Cobra. But I like that he sympathized with Jacob, because we all know that later on he doesn't really sympathize with Jacob anymore. And so I was just glad that we got like a little moment where they weren't hating each other. I also really liked how conflicted Edward was during this whole drive. Like, he was so on both sides. Like, he's like, I can't be with her, but I really want to, but I can't, but I want to, but I can't. And I really love this mental conflict that's going on. I think that Stephenie Meyer does mental conflict pretty decently, and I like how she does it. Especially, I really like The Host, and I really like how she does it in The Host. That's another like book that she's written that I think is really good. I can't wait for the second Host book, even though she may never write it. Who knows, man? She's Stephenie Meyer. She could just drop it one day and no one would freaking know it. Okay, so I just finished chapter 10. No, I finished chapter 11. Okay, so chapter 11, Bella's like asking Edward a bunch of questions and they go to school, and I was so excited for this because like I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts on Edward and Bella, and I was not disappointed. We got so much of Jessica's thoughts. I absolutely loved whenever she literally thought the word swoon. I loved everyone's thoughts. I loved hearing Rosalie's reaction to knowing that Bella knows, because like she was so mad, and I really love all of the extra depth that we're getting for the Cullens in this book, because we just so did not get that in Twilight. They seemed so flat. Like, so many of the characters seemed so much flatter in the original Twilight. So I just love how much depth we're getting with the characters in this book, because we're able to hear their thoughts. So I'm just really enjoying that right now.